My Facebook live stream. This is for the Jamboree 2016 that is put on every year by the Southern California Genealogical Society. We are here in Burbank, and we're at the Burbank Marriott, which is right across the street from the airport. So today right now I'm going to be talking about the classes that we had on Friday, and a little bit later on we're going to have my daughter join me, Elenas Favorites, and let me go ahead and just get on into my classes. I have my notes here from each of the classes. And if there's any problem with you guys hearing me, just go ahead and type in a question or let me know through the comments, and I'll try to adjust the mic, because I am here in the lobby of the hotel and the mic is supposed to help, but we'll see. Okay, so the first thing I did on Friday morning when I came here to the Jamboree was they had what is called round tables, and basically each table was covering a specific topic. It had one person who would facilitate the conversation, and everybody at that round table would talk about that particular topic. They had several of them. I had a choice of a technology round table, one for DNA for adoptees, and another one for genealogy for beginners, because I am a beginner at DNA. So the table I had chosen was a technology table, and this table was facilitated by Bruce Hibben. He is very, very knowledgeable about genealogy and technology. I learned so much from this gentleman. It was amazing what he was telling me. So there's a couple of things. He talked about how Roots Magic, which is a genealogy database program, syncs with Dropbox, which I never knew. It's pretty awesome, and it actually made me want to think, okay, well, maybe I should try Roots Magic, because I'm currently using Legacy. So that was very informative. He told me, he told everybody at the table also, that Evernote has unlimited memory, even the free version, which blew my mind because I didn't think the free version had unlimited memory. A couple of other things he told me about is it's a program, or actually, it's an app for the Android phone. It's called Fast Scanner. This app, when you take a picture with your phone, you can take it at any angle of a document or an item. Well, I think preferably a document, but you can take it at any angle, and it doesn't have to be right on top of the document. It could be off to the side, and when you take the picture and it goes into this app, you determine the document, because you have to basically crop it is what you do. And when you tell it to do its magic, it makes the image, it adjusts it so that it looks like you actually did take it from right atop of the document, which I thought was really amazing. He talked about a couple of other things. He also talked about converting your old cassette recordings to digital, which I have had an issue with for actually several years. I thought I had posted on my blog a while back, I think it was might have been last year or 2 years ago, about how you can convert it, but technology has changed since that last blog post, and now all you have to do is get it's called a 1/8 inch plug, and basically it's where you plug in your earphones to your phone. You have to have a cable that plugs into that slot, that little port. On the other end of the cable, you also have to have the same kind of connector, and that plugs into your tape player. So what I have are little mini cassettes that I use a mini cassette recorder to do my interviews. So what I need to do is, he told me, is to put the cassette into the cassette recorder. You plug into this cable into the cassette recorder, and then also into your computer on the mic port, and you run a program called Audacity. Now what this program will do is you start the recording on the program, and then you press play on the cassette recorder, and it will record your audio from the cassette recorder and convert it to a digital file for you. And I thought, wow, that was really super easy, a lot easier than what I had found out a couple of years ago with my blog posts. It was so much more easier. Let's see, he had a couple of things. Let me know if it's hard for you to understand, like I said earlier. Post a comment and let me know if you have trouble hearing me, or if you have any questions, and I'll try to adjust for that. Okay, so that's the first thing I did on Friday. And that took about an hour and a half. And then we had our first session, actually, for the day was by Drew Smith. Drew is actually a really good friend of mine. He was speaking about organizing your genealogical communication, and that was a session that I actually wrote a lot of notes. I have my notes here. And he was saying to basically don't make your system complicated. Whatever system you have, you pick the system that's good for you. Do not complicate it, because if you complicate it, you're not going to stick with it. And he suggested when you're handling paper mail to scan first. Say, for example, you send out for like a birth certificate and use it in the mail. You're going to want to scan that before you do anything with it, because you want to have that digital copy in your system, on your system, in your backup system. You want to be able to have that there so that you can store it and archive it. He also suggested that if you have a lot of emails coming in regarding genealogy, that you might want to just create a separate email account to handle your genealogy email. And he also said that if you have an email account that you've been using for years regarding genealogy, then keep it that way. And then just create a new account for your personal and family information when you're communicating with them. Just make it simple and easy for you so that you don't have to get too overwhelmed with it. Let's see. The last thing he said is to use Evernote for research logs. And that is such a great idea. I hear these things, and sometimes it takes me like somebody hitting me in the head a couple of times before I realize, okay, yeah, this is a great idea. I do use Evernote. I use it for when I'm drafting posts for my blog, my Genealogy Obsession blog. And I keep a lot of my ideas on there. And I didn't think that, duh, you can use it also for your research log. You can use it for a lot of other things. Okay, the next session I attended was actually from Cindy Engel, and it was titled Unappreciated Treasures Online, Libraries, Archives, and Digital Collections. Now in this session, I actually took a lot more notes too, but she thankfully created a handout that had a lot of information in it. So I had the opportunity to take notes, but I really didn't need to, because she put a lot of information in the handout. And one thing that she expressed throughout the class, that not everything is online. You may think a lot of the information is online, but really it's not all online. There is some online, but you have to really go down to the libraries, or write to the library, go onto their websites, look and see if they offer any research services, which is it's awesome if they do. For example, I was researching my husband's genealogy, and I had to write to Missouri, a library in Missouri. I'm sorry, I forget the library's name, but because I know they have several good genealogy departments in their libraries, and genealogy libraries. But I wrote to this one library, and I said to them, I'm looking for my husband's grandfather, who was in an accident. He worked at a train yard, and I believe it was in the newspapers. I'm not kidding. 2-3 days later, I get this email from one of the researchers there at the library, and she had 5 news articles, news announcements and articles about the accident where he was killed because he was hit by a train. And it was so awesome that they did that. So in this list, she actually lists a lot of different resources and archives, federal archives, state archives, all kinds of archives. And then at the end of her notes, she listed every single archive repository for each state. I don't know if this is actually available online, but if I can find out the link for it, I'll try to post it. Now, Friday, my next, I think I skipped that one. My next one, the next session I attended was actually the last session of the day. And this was called Principles of Effective Evidence Analysis with George Morgan. And George is another good friend of mine as well. And he was awesome in this session. These people who teach these sessions are really, really awesome, and they're really good at what they do. He stated that we need to work like an investigative reporter. We need to cover the 5 W's like reporters do: the who, the what, where, when, and why. And every once in a while you do a how too. Every once in a while it's an H. So when it comes to genealogy, you want to know who is named, what did this document, what is this document or piece of evidence, where was this created, why was it created. You want to answer all these questions, and it'll help you go through, discover all the information you need to help your genealogy research along. Let's see. He also talked about you need to take the time to carefully analyze each of the records. You don't want to rush through it. That's one of the things is whatever you do, don't rush, because you don't want to miss any of the little details that you find in documents and when you're searching. And one of the other things is, one of the other points that he made was finding nothing is evidence too. Because when you have documents and you're doing genealogy research, you have your documents and it's your evidence. It shows you what it proves the information you have. Now, if you don't have evidence for it, that doesn't mean that it's not available. It just means that it proves that you search this repository. And anyways, it was really, really informational for me. So those were the sessions that I attended on Friday. And now I'm going to bring in my daughter, Elena, and she'll tell you some of her favorites.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, real quick, let me know if you can't hear her, and I'll try to adjust the mic and get it on her, too. Thanks.
So I was here on Friday, too, and I only attended 2 classes because I got so excited once I was finished with them. Both of them were actually on writing your family history. And the first one I attended was called The Nuts and Bolts of Storytelling, the Elements of Memoir and Historical Narratives. And it was really interesting because the speaker went over not only memoirs, which I hadn't really thought about as a way to write your family history, but historical narratives, which had never even remotely crossed my mind, because you kind of take a creative license with it, and it's a story based on real people in your family line and real events that happened. The second one I took was called Plot, Plan, and Scheme Your Story. And that one was still good. It was by Lisa Alzo, and she talked about so many wonderful tips and tools to help writing. she talked about like using storyboards and really like plotting out what you want to write before you start writing, to have sort of a plan and a map before you start. And it was just so much fun. Like as soon as I was done, I went straight up to the room and I started on my laptop and I was like, I have to do all of this right now. They were so great and so informative and showed me things that I had never even considered to be a way of doing. And so it was so much fun. And it was just amazing. And I learned so much. And I think both of us have learned so much just in a few days. It's crazy.
Now, Elena, as a teenager, how do you feel about attending just a genealogy convention in general?
Well, I think at first, when I first came like 4-ish years ago, I was really kind of nervous because I kind of thought it might be boring, but I thought, I'm doing genealogy and this is what I'm here to learn, so it'll be okay. And it turned out to be so much fun. Like these are people too. They're not just researchers day and night. Like they're people and they know what you're going through as a first-time genealogist. And as I've grown from there, I've learned so much more, and so being here is like a necessity now.
Yeah, I know. I enjoy coming every year because I know I learn something new every single year.
Yeah, I'm coming with you.
I know, and I love that you come with me, honey. It's so much more fun. I have somebody to hang out with when people are doing other things. And anyways, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and stop it here, and I will come back in 15 minutes and do a wrap up on today with the things that we're doing today. We do have a time limit though, so I'm going to have to keep that one a little bit short, but we'll be back. So stay tuned, you guys, and if you have any questions, make sure you write them down so you can post them in the comments, okay?
We should answer them.
Yes. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.